Imagine that we consider the function f of x equals to x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. You're probably thinking, all right, this is silly to give a function like this. This is just simply equal to 1. The only thing that I want to caution you about that is that indeed I could cancel x minus 1 because x minus 1 appears in the numerator and denominator. And yeah, I could say that this is equal to 1. I just want us to be careful though, that this is equal to 1 as long as x doesn't equal to 1. Because if x is equal to 1, imagine, if I consider f of 1, I will end up getting 1 minus 1 over 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0 over 0. And 0 over 0 is always undefined in mathematics. In fact, in calculus, we're going to call 0 over 0 an indeterminate form. That means we cannot have an answer. An answer is completely impossible to determine. And that's because 0 over 0 is undefined. So as long as we understand that this function is equal to 1 when x doesn't equal to 1, then you can go ahead and cancel x minus 1. So graphically, what does that look like? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Graphically, here we're going to have the x-axis, the y-axis. Let me label that. So this will be y, this is going to be x. And we know that f of x right here is equal to 1 for every x as long as x doesn't equal to 1. So if I want to sketch this graph, then I will make sure that when x is equal to 1, let's say that y is right here as 1 as well. When x is equal to 1, I am going to place an open circle. And an open circle really showing that my graph, my function, is undefined at 1. But then I know that for any other x value, to the right of 1 or to the left of 1, the y value is going to always remain at 1. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch my graph as a horizontal line passing through 1, and then same thing on the right like this. So I know that this will be the graph of my function. In fact, this is going to be the graph of f of x equals x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. So there is my graph. And as I said, other than this, there's nothing else that is interesting. The graph is showing that the function is undefined at 1. There is an open circle. And then it shows that for any other x value, whether the x value is to the right of 1 or to the left of 1, the y value is going to be 1, no matter what. So now then, let me ask a more interesting question. And this is exactly where the concept of a limit will begin. We already know that the function is undefined at 1. So what happens at 1 is completely uninteresting to us. A more exciting question is, what happens around 1, very close to 1, as x approaches 1 from the left and as x approaches 1 from the right? What is happening to the y values of the function? And honestly, this is the concept of a limit. Imagine that we are somewhere here on the left of 1. Let's say this is our first x value, and this looks like 0.6. We ask the question, what is the y value when x is equal to 0.6? And this is so easy to determine. You just go up to your graph, and then you know that the y value is going to be 1. But you want to figure out, though, you want to keep moving closer to 1. The closer you can possibly get to 1. So then, now pick an x value that is closer to 1, something like this one over here. Let's call it x sub 2. And x sub 2 could now be something like 0.7. So therefore now, what happens to the y value that corresponds to 0.7? You go back to your graph all the way up, and then you notice that it's going to be 1 again. And you keep moving closer and closer and closer to 1. And as you move closer to 1, as x is approaching 1 from the left, right here from the left, you notice that the y values are getting closer and closer to 1 as well. The same thing is going to happen as x approaches 1 from the right. So now, imagine that we're somewhere here. This is your x value. Let's call this x sub 3. This x value could be something like 1.4. You're going to ask the same question. When x is equal to 1.4, what is the y value? So you go up to your graph and you notice that the y value is 1. But remember, you want to keep moving closer and closer to 1. So now you're going to consider x values that are here, and then closer and closer and closer. And seriously, you want to be able to get very close to 1. So eventually you're going to go 1.1, 1.001, 1.0001, 1.00001. Hopefully you get the point. X is getting really, really close to 1 from the right. You notice that the y values are exactly 1. So then what you notice is that no matter how you approach 1, whether you approach it from the left or from the right, the y values from the left over here and from the right are exactly 1. So that's very important. Again, x is approaching 1 from the left, x is approaching 1 from the right. Look at the y values. The y values consistently are equal to 1. And because of this, we say that the limit of the function as x approaches 1 is equal to 1. Symbolically, this is how we write it. Limit, the word limit, will be abbreviated with LIM. So we will say that the limit as x approaches 1 of the function, in this case x minus 1 over x minus 1, is equal to 1. Sometimes we put brackets around the function just to keep it nice and more contained, but you don't have to put brackets. Sometimes we get a little bit lazy, and instead of writing the actual expression of the function, we just write f of x, and this is also a fair game. You can do that. So again, this is saying that the limit as x approaches 1 from the right and from the left of 1 of the function f of x is equal to 1. And this notation is saying the same thing that we just spent quite a bit going over. This notation says, let me put an arrow over here. This notation is telling us that as x approaches 1 from the left and from the right, the values of the function are approaching 1. In this particular case, because the function is constant, the values of the function, the y values, are exactly equal to 1. So this output that we talk about, this 1 refers to the y values. Okay. As x approaches 1, the y values are approaching 1. But because the function is constant here, the y values are equal to 1.